I feel sorry to the fans because the fight is boring. The fight is boring. Like that's not the fans are expecting to us.
Certain Terence Crawford in his brain is saying to himself, I can beat this dude. You know what I'm saying? If he actually goes through with it, he'll be 38 years of age next Sunday.
Right now in the sport, that's supposed to be the man, big bad wolf. You beat him, you the wolf. Now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, well, so I'm gonna fight. You beat the shark, you beat the wolf.
Manny Pacquiao took a playful jab at Floyd Mayweather for calling out Terence Crawford, expressing his disappointment in the fight's lack of excitement. Pacquiao believes this matchup is not what boxing needs right now, warning fans it will be boring and more of an exhibition than a true contest. He points out that Floyd has been retired for years and hasn't fought seriously in a long time, making the whole idea seem hollow and meaningless.
The fight is boring. Like that's not the fans are expecting to us. I mean, as a fighter, if I'm a fan, of course I want to see a good fight, like changing fight, not a fashion show.
Pacquiao didn't hold back in criticizing Floyd Mayweather, revealing his concern that Floyd's motivations are driven by money rather than legacy. Manny feels sorry for Mayweather, saying that his return to the ring is more about squeezing cash from exhibition bouts than about meaningful competition. To Manny, this reflects a troubling trend in boxing where sport has become a business performance, turning fighters into models rather than warriors, and stripping away the sport's true essence.
Now, in the beginning of this conversation, you say, I don't like boastful people. How was it like fighting Mayweather then? Did he get on your nerves? Because I feel like he's a little bit more boastful than the people you might be wanting to hang out with.
Yeah, he's boastful. I think his God is the material things, money, everything like that. I'm pity with him because I want to share the word of God in him if he believe God.
Yeah. I've heard he's a generous man. I think he's done good things. I think, he kind of reminds me of like a lot of people are like this, by the way, including myself. I'm not just saying him. I'm including myself. The man who goes up to Jesus and says, what should I do to get into heaven? He says, sell all your belongings. And he walked away crying because he couldn't sell his belongings.
Exactly.
The boxing world was stunned by the announcement that Floyd Mayweather and Mike Tyson will face off in 2026. Analysts quickly pointed out that this isn't about between two fighters at their peak but rather an entertainment spectacle aimed at generating revenue. The fight is being positioned as a warm-up for Mayweather's potential showdown with Terence Crawford, with huge pay-per-view numbers expected. Despite lacking sporting significance, the legendary status of Tyson and the global brand of Mayweather ensure massive media attention.
Broadcast for Jake and Tyson and some people like the likes of Carl Froch viewed that as an endorsement. Like, look, man, I'm just working. It's a big opportunity to be on Netflix. I didn't put the fight together. I'm not paying these guys. So, let's chill out. But all right, I'm not going to poo-poo this. I just don't know what CSI is. And the way it was presented made me think that there was like a secondary press release to come, that they'll be involved in like some sort of like virtual boxing thing. Like it just didn't seem real. You know why it didn't seem real? I'll tell you why. There's no date attached to it. There's no venue attached to it. Forget rules, exhibition, not exhibition, weight. I mean, here's a guy who fought a heavyweight forget all that. These things can get figured out, the fine details. The fact that it was announced, why announce something with no date or location attached to it? What's the point? Unless you're just trying to get people excited and trying to get them, trying to get some investors or something like that.
But maybe also testing the waters. If the response was overwhelmingly positive, maybe you go, okay, we move forward. If the response is muted or negative, maybe you go, okay, we're not going to actually do this. You lob it out there as a way to poll the public, and then make an adjustment.
So you don't think it happens?
I do not think it happens. I just don't think there will be enough interest. I know they have huge name value. There's zero, after the last performance by Mike Tyson against Jake Paul, I don't think there's going to be interest in seeing Mike Tyson do that again.
Terence Crawford has consistently expressed admiration for Manny Pacquiao, praising his legendary career. Crawford highlights Manny's unique achievement of capturing titles across multiple divisions, often fighting larger opponents and winning against the odds. He believes Manny's success is nearly impossible to replicate, noting that Pacquiao's era was special because he took on challenges that few others dared to confront, cementing his legacy as one of boxing's all-time greats.
Man, a generational, talented fighter. Like, he's accomplished what no other fighter is ever going to accomplish.
Fans have been buzzing about a potential fight between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez, widely regarded as one of the sport's most dangerous fighters today. With Benavidez's size, youth, and aggression, supporters believe this matchup would be a true test for Crawford, pushing him in ways no previous opponent has. Although no official confirmation exists, the discussion reflects fans' desire for meaningful, high-stakes battles that go beyond exhibitions and celebrity spectacles.
Shocked the world, not me, but shocked the world. This past Saturday, Mexican Independence Day weekend, what he took on and defeated another first ballot Hall of Famer, but he essentially jumped up 3 weight classes, technically 2, from 154 to 168, but only had 1 fight at 154 last August against Israel Majimov. Terence Crawford defeated Saul Canelo Alvarez, who is a 4-division champion, 2-time undisputed super middleweight, and the reigning, at the time, super middleweight world champion, undisputed world champion. And Terence Crawford beat him handily and convincingly. And because he beat him so easily, now the 63 win, 3 loss, 2 draw, 39 win by way of knockout, biggest threat has been now imposed on Terence Bud Crawford. And that's the Mexican Ecuadorian monster, David Benavidez, who is a 2-division undefeated world champion, is the 2-time WBC super middleweight and reigning WBC light heavyweight, 175-pound champion, who has a record of 30 wins, no loss, no draw, 24 wins by way of knockout. He stands 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. This is a fight that David Benavidez has been calling from for Canelo Alvarez when he was at 168, and Canelo Alvarez strategically maneuvered around him. But Canelo Alvarez is 5'7" with a 70-inch arm reach, started his career at 147 pounds, made his real name at 154 pounds. He's not a big guy, okay? And styles make fights. Benavidez is 6'2" with a 75-inch arm reach. His last fight at 168 against Demetrius Andrade, he rehydrated to 193. So he's a big guy. Canelo Alvarez probably rehydrate to 182, maybe 185 max, right? He's not a big guy, right?
Trainer Greg Hackett shared high praise for Terence Crawford following his impressive victory over Canelo Alvarez. Hackett described Canelo as the shark of boxing, symbolizing dominance in the sport. He explained that Crawford's dismantling of Canelo signals a shift at the top of boxing, positioning Crawford as the new predator. Hackett also raises an important question: if Crawford can beat a fighter as tough as Canelo, who can truly challenge him? Fans are now debating whether Crawford will continue fighting or retire at his peak of dominance.
Because you gotta remember, Canelo is the guy right now in the sport that's supposed to be the man, you know, big bad wolf. You beat him, you the wolf. Now it's like, you know what I mean? Like, all right, who else I'm gonna fight? You beat the shark, you beat the wolf. Right. Dang. Like, you know what I mean? Ain't no more ops out there. It's ops out there, but who gonna make them really want to get up? That's the
shit gotta make sense. Like you said, you be the shark and then you be the wolf.
Yeah.
But there's the monster.
Yeah, yes, but that's like a real monster.
Bro, that's to me it don't make sense. But that's what
monster.
Yo, is that proof? All right, we got the legendary Pape in the building. Legend.
Sure, man.
But what makes sense? Like, what makes the most sense? I know you said get a line of suits, Brooks Brothers.
Yeah, get a line of suits. Get a line of suits, get your money. Go in, get the easy money. You ain't gotta sweat no more.
What's up?
Not saying you ain't gotta work, you ain't gotta sweat.
What's happening?
He's paved a career where he could sit down at a table and get this money. He could come out with a Terence Crawford series now, just whatever, doing whatever he like to do. People gonna watch it. Nobody, the fighting part, people don't understand what it's like to be a fighter. a lot of times fighters really don't be interested in certain fights. It's because when a guy see himself up here and then he's fighting a guy down here, it don't interest him. So therefore, when he train, he not gonna really train. He gonna train, but he not gonna train. He not gonna listen. He gonna feel like his coach taking it too serious, and he's like, man, this ain't even that. But your coach like, listen, you can get fucked up. I'm telling you, you don't want to listen. Then you go in there and fight that guy. Then you get. I seen it happen.
Most trained eye that they know they saw a very high level athlete perform something at a very high level last night. I think he gained the sports world's attention last night and respect. He already did after Spence, but it went to another level in this fight.
And I think even the fight itself, like just from a median level, but then the moments where they were having these exchanges, like kind of late in the fight, then people were like, all right, it was good. Then like, okay, I saw somebody like they're squabbing, like they're this is a fight here. So I think it did.
And Crawford closed the show.
Yeah.
In 10, 11, 12, he stood in there and landed some hard shots and rocked Canelo at the bell. He didn't. James was talking about the great Floyd Mayweather. Floyd would go up on you 8-0 and then coast, and you might as well turn the fight off at midway through the ninth. Like, you know, he's not gonna. But Crawford didn't do that. But he wasn't up 8-0, to be fair to Floyd. But Floyd was when he fought Canelo, so he could do that. But Bud instead steps on the gas. Bud is a finisher. You know, he closes really strong. He closes really strong in every exchange. That's one of his gifts. He's the best counterpuncher of his era, one of the greatest counterpunchers that lived. But the great fighters, James would tell us about this. James and Mike McCallum put on fights that exemplify what I'm talking about: initiating and punctuating, being first, being last. That's one of the things that makes Crawford who he is. So no, I think it was a good enough fight that it certainly didn't hurt boxing.
Yeah, I think Sport of Boxing delivered last night.